Stimulus checks coming through the rest of this month, June and July. Well, let's actually talk about it. Welcome, everybody. Hey, thank you so much for being part of this community and for allowing me to be your daily advocate. If you happen to be new here, or if you haven't done so already, please make sure to hit that subscribe button right down below the video, because I am back every single day to keep you updated, to break down exactly what's happening, and to help you out in any way that I possibly can through these videos. I truly mean that. This community means everything to me, and I do not take that lightly. So thank you so much for being here, and let's get into this because there is a lot to cover today, and I really do not want you to miss any of it. Now, first off, a huge thank you to all of you who watched my video from earlier today and who have been leaving your comments and your feedback down below in the comment section, just as I asked you to do. And wow, the response has been absolutely incredible. So many amazing comments. So many great suggestions, and so many of you sharing your personal stories and your situations. I read every single one of them, and I want you to know that. As you know, we talked about the fourth stimulus check, monthly recurring stimulus checks, and of course, raising Social Security, SSDI, SSI, and VA benefits in that earlier video. Thank you once again. I truly appreciate every single one of you. If you haven't seen that video from earlier today, I would say finish up watching this one and then go back and watch that video I published just a few hours ago. It is a really important one, and I would love your feedback on it if you want to leave that for me down below. All right, so let's get into this because I continue to get a massive number of comments on a daily basis from people reaching out and saying, hey, I heard that we are going to be getting stimulus checks in May, June, and July. So why haven't I received mine yet? And look, I completely understand the frustration behind that question. When you keep seeing headlines floating around online saying checks are coming, payments are going out, money is being sent, and then you check your bank account and there is absolutely nothing there. That is an incredibly frustrating and confusing feeling. So let me take the time right now to actually walk you through exactly what is happening, who is getting these payments, why some people are receiving them, and why other people, unfortunately, are not seeing a single penny. Because the answer is a little more complicated than most of those headlines are making it seem, and you deserve to have the full picture. So first off, let me answer the most basic question right out of the gate. Is it actually true that some people will be getting checks in the months of May, June, and July? Yes, absolutely yes. In fact, some people will be getting checks that could amount to thousands of dollars during these months. So yes, it is completely true that many people will be receiving payments during this time. However, and this is the critical part that a lot of people are missing, is it a traditional stimulus check? And are you automatically eligible for it? That is where the real confusion starts to come in, and that is exactly what I want to break down for you right now, because there are actually several different groups of people receiving several different types of payments, and they are all happening at different times for completely different reasons. Let's start with the very first group and the very first round of payments that began going out in May and are expected to continue rolling out through June and into July. This first wave of payments is specifically for people who received unemployment benefits in 2020. Now, here's the backstory on this and why this matters so much. When the $1.9 trillion stimulus package was passed and signed into law by the president on March 11th of 2021, there was a provision included in that bill. Actually, it was added at the very last minute in the Senate that excluded the first $10,200 of unemployment benefits received in 2020 from being counted as taxable income. In other words, if you received unemployment benefits in 2020, you should not have had to pay taxes on that first $10,200. That is a really significant tax break for millions of Americans who were out of work during the pandemic. But here is where things get a little tricky, and this is why so many people are now receiving these payments. A lot of people. In fact, tens of millions of people had already filed their 2020 tax return before March 11th when the bill was signed. They filed early, which is normally a responsible thing to do, but because they filed before that provision was officially written into law, they ended up paying taxes on unemployment benefits that they technically should not have owed taxes on. So what the IRS has been doing, and this is really important to understand, is they have been automatically going through and amending those tax returns for people who filed before March 11th and who received unemployment benefits in 2020. And once they process that amendment, they are issuing a tax refund for the difference, the taxes that person overpaid on those unemployment benefits. And that refund, depending on your situation, could be anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, or even potentially more showing up directly in your bank account or arriving as a paper check in your mailbox. Now, the first wave of these payments, which began in May, was specifically for single filers, individuals who filed their tax return as single and who earned under $150,000 in adjusted gross income. If that describes you and you received unemployment in 2020 and you filed before March 11th, you should either already have received your payment or it should be coming to you very soon. The IRS has been sending these out in batches, so if you have not received yours yet, it does not necessarily mean something is wrong. It just may not be your batch yet. Now, the second wave of these payments is expected to go out in June and into July, and this round is going to be for married couples who filed a joint return. So if you and your spouse filed jointly and one or both of you received unemployment benefits in 2020 and your combined household income was under $150,000, then the IRS is going to automatically process that amendment for your joint return as well and send you your tax refund. And again, this could be a couple $1,000s landing in your account, possibly more depending on how much unemployment each of you received. So if you are a married couple and you are wondering when your payment is coming, June and July is the window you are looking at for this particular group. Now, I do want to be completely transparent with you about something important here. Technically speaking, these are not stimulus checks. I know the headlines make it sound like stimulus checks are raining down on everyone right now, but these particular payments are tax refunds. They are money that you already overpaid to the government in taxes, and the IRS is simply returning it to you now that the law has changed. But I also want to say this, and I think most of you will agree. When the IRS is sending you a direct deposit of $1,000, $1,500, or $2,000 out of nowhere, it honestly feels pretty much exactly like a stimulus check. The end result is the same. Money is coming into your account. So whether you call it a tax refund or a stimulus check, the practical impact on your life is very similar. Now let's talk about the next major group of people who are going to be receiving payments. And this is actually a really big one. We are talking about approximately 39 million households across the country who are going to start receiving monthly payments beginning on July 15th. This is the expanded child tax credit, and it is one of the most significant changes to come out of the American Rescue Plan. If you have children who are 17 years old or younger and your household income is under $150,000, or even if you have little to no income at all, you are likely going to qualify for these monthly payments. And these are not one-time payments. These are going to come every single month on the 15th, starting July 15th and continuing all the way through December 15th of 2021. 6 months of consecutive monthly payments directly to families with qualifying children. The amount you receive will depend on the ages of your children. For children under the age of 6, the credit is $3,600 for the full year, which works out to $300 per month per child. For children between the ages of 6 and 17, it is $3,000 for the year, which is $250 per month per child. Now think about what that actually means for a family with 3 or 4 children. If you have 4 kids, all under the age of 17, you could be looking at anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 or more hitting your bank account every single month for the rest of the year. That is essentially another stimulus check arriving every month. And for a lot of families, that is going to be absolutely life-changing money. But here is the thing that really bothers me, And I know it bothers a lot of you too. Not everyone is eligible for the child tax credit because not everyone has children. Not everyone received unemployment benefits in 2020, so they are not getting that tax refund either. There are millions and millions of lower income individuals. Seniors on Social Security, people on SSDI, people on SSI, veterans receiving VA benefits, who are sitting here watching everyone around them get additional payments, monthly checks, and tax refunds, and they are receiving absolutely nothing extra right now. And that is just not right. That is exactly the kind of inequity that this community has been fighting against and speaking out about. That is actually why I put together the letter that I talked about in my earlier video today, the one my wife Corey came in and read on camera. This letter is going directly to the president and to members of Congress, and it lays out a very clear case for why lower income individuals and fixed income Americans deserve additional support right now. Not next year, not eventually, right now. Because while the headlines are talking about all these payments going out, there is a large and often overlooked segment of the population who is being completely left out of all of it. And I want to be clear. This community is not alone in pushing for this. There have already been 4 separate letters sent to the president from members of Congress calling for action. 53 House representatives sent a letter calling for a 4th stimulus check and monthly recurring payments. 21 Democratic senators sent their own letter calling for the same thing. 6 members of the House Ways and Means Committee sent another letter pushing for more stimulus checks and monthly stabilization payments. And another group of Democrats sent a letter specifically calling for SSI benefits to be raised to 100% of the federal poverty level. 4 letters, all calling for more support, all in the hands of the president right now. And soon there will be a 5th letter, the one coming from this community, from all of us, together, demanding that lower income Americans not be forgotten in all of this. So I really hope that cleared things up regarding all of these headlines you may have been seeing about stimulus checks in May, June, and July. The payments are real, they are going out, but they are not going to everybody. And understanding exactly who is getting what and why is so important, so that you are not left wondering why your bank account is still sitting empty while everyone else seems to be getting something. I am going to continue to be here every single day, breaking this down for you, advocating for you, and making sure your voice is heard. That is my promise to this community, and I take that seriously every single day. Thanks so much, everybody. Please make sure to subscribe if you have not done so already. Check out the other videos here on the channel, and just remember, I am your daily advocate, and I will always be here for you each and every day going forward. Thanks again, and I will catch you in the very next video.